Welcome to the Sideline Live podcast. Subscribe for more episodes and follow our social media at the Sideline Live. We'd love to hear from you. On episode 13, I spoke to Irish basketball international and Mayo senior footballer Dayna Finn. We had a brilliant chat about her career, balancing two high-level sports, and much, much more. I really hope you enjoy the episode. Hi Dayna, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Hi, Orla, how's things?
All good, thanks a million. So we're going to get straight to it because we've so much to get through. So many questions over on Instagram. But we're going to kind of talk about growing up and stuff. Aveen Dunphy wanted to know, who was your biggest inspiration growing up? I think you mentioned before your parents played for Mayo, was it?
Yeah. So I suppose my biggest inspiration would have been my parents. Yeah, so mom and dad growing up. Both of them would have played for Mayo and would be very driven. So I'd admire that. And they've always, I suppose, they're the reason I've got to where I am today. Like, they're a big support. So yeah, they would have been the main two people growing up. And then there's other people who I would have admired and looked up to, and people I would have like in the club who I'd be like, geez, they're good, I want to be like them, you know. So yeah, my mom and dad would have been my biggest inspiration, I suppose, and still are.
And basketball wise, was there anyone growing up that you kind of watched and you were like, oh, I definitely want to play like them?
I suppose we started off in Kelchamaw, so that's where I'm from, Mayo, and there was no one. I kind of hadn't, like, when I was younger, I didn't really admire someone. But I guess then when I moved to a club in Mary, and Michelle Fahy would have been a big one. I would have been like, geez, she's very good, like, and just little things. She would have trained with us and played with us for a year and stuff. So I would have been taking little things from her game and implement them into mine, whether it be so yeah.
And what were those little things that you took from her? Do you rob from her?
I didn't rob them from her, but I suppose she's very, I suppose when I'm playing, I kind of tend to I'd have nearly a kind of, not get angry necessarily, but you know, I'd be very, very competitive, and her side of things is just so calm and collected. Whether anything annoys you wouldn't even know. She's just so calm and collected. But no, definitely training with her was huge. Like, she gave us huge advice.
Deadly. And chatting about basketball first, with your underage international experience, your first team was under 16, was it?
Yeah, my first team was under 16. Yeah, so
and what was that experience like? Because I know, did you play 2 years of under 16 or just one?
Yeah, so I played 2 years under 16, so I would have been a year young the first year. And yeah, so I suppose back then, thinking it feels like ages ago now, but we would have played in Macedonia and Romania, and I would have been coached by Andy Gill, and then it was Maeve Coleman the year after. So yeah, no, incredible experience, and I suppose that was kind of the stepping stone of where I've kind of got to today. Then I suppose you go on and you make the under 18 Irish team and under 20s and stuff like that. So yeah, it was definitely a big stepping stone in my career, and I learned a lot from them coaches. And I suppose playing abroad at such a young age, like I would have been only 15, like, you know. So yeah, it was a big step, but like I said, the experiences are incredible, and it's got me to where I am today.
Absolutely. So you would have then played with a lot of the girls who were on the under 18 team in 2017, was it?
In the under 18 team in 2017, yeah. So as in, I would have played with them, in Dublin.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, I played a year young that year, my first year. So then I played with the same team then. Yeah, similar enough team in Dublin at Europeans, yeah.
And kind of chatting about Dublin, what was that experience like? I was actually abroad and I was raging because I was looking at all the streams, and the place in Tala was just hopping.
Yeah, I'd say to date that was one of the biggest highlights of my career. Like I actually can't even explain how, just to being at home and the support, and then I suppose getting silver and stuff, and that, like, it was just incredible. Yeah, it was one of the best experience of my life today. I remember beating Israel and going around the court thanking the crowd, and I actually had happy tears in my eyes. I don't think I've ever cried at happiness ever, like, you know, and I was like, yeah, overdoing, but yeah, it was a amazing experience.
And you played with Maggie Byrne. Is it Maggie that was in? She played club with
Yeah,
you as well.
yeah, I would have played with Maggie, and then I would have played with Alison Blaney. She's in club with me as well. So yeah.
Oh,
Um
deadly. So that was probably nice to be with
yeah,
them
it
as
was
well, with the
lovely.
two
And
girls.
like Maggie only lives like 2 minutes out the road from me. So it's gas that both of us come from this little place in Kelshmal. But yeah, no, I played with those two. So yeah, it was definitely a helping hand going to training and stuff like that. Like we get the train together under 16s, and you know, setting off, like it was our
Yeah.
highlight for our weekend, you know. But yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah, I'd say there was some crack in the trains anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of chatting about then 2018. So you were promoted to Division A. What was the standard like? Can you kind of put a comparison on Division A and Division B basketball?
Um, I suppose, yeah, like I going out to Division A, I was like, this is going to be a huge challenge, and the level is going to be way higher. And when I got there and playing throughout, like through the games, I mean, we were well able to compete. I
Mm-hmm.
thought like we would have struggled in that, but from anyone who had watched the games or like followed us during, when we were in Italy, we were well able to compete. Now, don't get me wrong, there was some games that we lost most of the games bar one against Sweden, but like
Mm-hmm.
we were still able to compete. And you know, I think obviously the standard is there. It is a big step from Division B, but
Mm-hmm.
we know that we're well able to compete at that level. So yeah, that was definitely, I love that experience of getting to play the top teams in Europe.
And kind of chatting about that win against Sweden, take us through the what was it, the win and layup, I think it was you had. You talked to Hilary Nets about this, but I would definitely want to chat to you about this one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess, like I say to everyone, the timeout we had just before that, it was such a low scoring game. And the timeout we had about maybe two turnovers in the last minute. Um, and I said to the girls, I was like, we are not losing this game no matter what we do. Like, so yeah, I don't know, I actually completely forget what was said in our timeout. We went onto the court then, and we the inbound. I think it was Enya who was taking an inbound, and we had a play to go through, and I got the ball and just see my defender and took her on the baseline and put the layup up, and yeah, it went in. And I guess I didn't think about how serious it was if I missed the layup at the time. I was
Yeah,
like, I just did it, and whatever happened after. But like
yeah,
it worked in my way, like, you know. But
yeah.
if I'd missed the layup and I'd taken on the baseline, I wonder, I'd say the girls would have hated me, but you know, that's sports. But
They wouldn't have let you on the,
let
yeah,
that me live that one down. But
definitely not.
I know, yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm over the celebrations like afterwards.
Um, they were tame enough. Like we just went back to the hotel. I suppose at the time we were so happy. And we came out to our parents and all that. Like the Irish always get a good lot of support. So we came out to our parents, and then we all went for team dinner. I think we got pizzas that night. So
Lovely.
yeah, and just stayed up and stuff like that. So yeah, they're memories that I'll cherish forever. It was amazing. But
Absolutely. And kind of chatting then about the under 20 European Championships last year, or in 2019. You talk us through that tournament. I think, did you play Great Britain twice, was it?
yeah, so we played Great Britain twice. So there was like, it was a different system to most years,
Mm-hmm.
because I think there was less teams. Yeah, we ended up playing Great Britain in the kind of group stages, and then in the quarterfinals we played them as well. So yeah, no, I suppose it's always a challenge when we
Yeah.
play Great Britain. You never know if you're going to come out on the good side. But yeah, we played them twice and we beat them narrowly in the second game. But yeah, no, it was very good. Yeah.
Nice to have a good rivalry as well with the people across the water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We always, yeah, we'll take them twice. It was nearly nice to to play them twice because we were like, we know what these are like, you know.
And kind of chatting about the bronze medal game, can you kind of take us through that game? And obviously as well the celebrations after, like that's 2 European basketball championship medals you have now.
Yeah, in that game, I guess Great Britain again, like suppose it's always a challenge, like just like every game is. But yeah, the feeling was incredible, and I suppose the support we had from the Irish over there was great too. So yeah, I suppose it didn't feel like the difference between it being at home and it being in Kosovo was huge. Like the support in Ireland was like a different, like, you know, it nearly made it feel like it was. I don't know how to describe it, but like it was just far more like there was far more of a deal made out of it. But yeah, no, it was huge to get bronze in Kosovo, and with the team that was very similar to the silver medal in Dublin. So yeah, it was huge, and I've made so many memories with those girls. So
kind of chatting about the difference between Dublin and Kosovo, and you were saying the atmosphere. Do you think in Dublin that like the crowd were like that sixth man, as they say, like they really gave, like, carried you, kind of gave you momentum?
yeah, I guess like I wouldn't take a huge notice of the crowd, but like it definitely does impact it. And yeah, it kind of is like that sixth man, like it just drives you on and gives that extra urge to want to win and to want to get that basket in and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I think, but like the Irish support always are incredible, and they've shown that over the years. Like nearly every girl's parents travels, so
Oh,
yeah, it's
deadly.
great.
Yeah, that's nice
Yeah.
for families going as well. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah, and
good.
then in your off days, you're absolutely spoiled. So it's great. Yeah,
That's the best part.
yeah.
And then it was such a pity then, because you were promoted again to Division A, and obviously the summer 2020 it was all cancelled. Like that you would have been really looking forward to getting up to Division A again.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose for the girls who were going to be playing in Division A, and that it would have been like huge for them to experience that, and for anyone that does get to experience it, take it with all you've got, because it's definitely a huge experience. But yeah, I suppose with everything that's happened now, and that everything that has been taken from us, I suppose that's life, and we're always going to get other opportunities to play at these levels and reach our goals. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, it's tough though. It definitely
Oh
is
yeah,
tough.
no, I'd say so. And the disappointment of finding out last summer, like, because how soon did you find out from when all this madness started?
Um, Again, I think it was nearly June maybe.
Oh,
June.
that close to
Yeah,
the tournament.
I think I'm actually not sure when it was. Geez, with all these months, I'm nearly mixed up between where I like but maybe yeah, maybe April, or yeah, I'm actually not sure when it came out, but yeah, I remember being like, oh, and then like the next step then was like, hopefully we'll have Super League will go ahead and club will come back and Mayo and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I suppose yeah, we can chat about that further on.
Yeah, later on. We've 2 questions here from Paul Gallagher. Question 1: what is the most important aspect of being a point guard in the modern game?
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, good, very good question. I suppose I played point guard all my career nearly. I'm kind of going towards playing the two in the last year or so. I kind of like the more you have a bit more freedom playing the two. But
Hmm.
the most important aspect, is that
Yeah,
most
sorry, the
important aspect?
most important. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there's, as I said, there's a lot of important aspects to being a point guard, but like the main thing I suppose is like you're the facilitator and you have to make quick and good decisions. You're you have to decide what's in front of you, whether in zone or man, like you see the floor. I suppose your main thing is you have to pick the best option, and you're isolating players who you think are going to be in the best position. And then you have to think of whether you're going to take on the player, or else there's someone else in a better position. But yeah, there's a low, like, I suppose one of the main things is being confident on the ball and your ball handling skills. But yeah, definitely a good question. I suppose I kind of said there before it got cut off that I played point guard, I suppose, most of my career, and I'm kind of I like playing the two, I suppose, the last year or so. But yeah, no, it definitely is a hard position to play, because you're kind of the initiator of a lot of things that happen. But when you've good teammates around you, they make it happen as well. So yeah.
Another question he had was, what is the toughest part of being the first line of defence and having to get through ball screens all of the time?
God, he's very that's good. Yeah, the most challenging part, being the first line of defence. I suppose the first thing is trusting your teammates. Like, so if you're the first line of defence, you can't see what's behind you. So yeah, trusting your teammates, and you have to make good judgments of, I suppose, if a big is screening you, you have to judge whether you're going to go over or under, or you're going to switch. Good communication is key to that on the floor. But yeah, as I said, like, you can't see what's happening behind you. So I suppose sometimes it can be physically and mentally challenging if there's a big and you're trying to get around them. And but yeah, that's a good question. I suppose it depends on who you're defending to. So if they're a shooter, or if they're going to attack the basket, you have to know those things as well.
Yeah, like you were saying, having good teammates, like being able to communicate with one another, is just going to make your job easier.
Yeah, definitely in all aspects of the game.
Kind of chatting about football then with Mayo. You play club basketball in Galway and then football in Mayo.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then kind of coming up through underage, were you involved in any sort of the Mayo county underage teams?
I suppose no. At underage, I played. I played basketball, under 16 Irish team, and I played them with Kelchma at home for basketball as well. I wasn't involved in. Sorry, what was your question again?
Were you involved in the underage Mayo teams at all?
Oh yes. No, I wasn't. I played under 16 Irish team in that, but it was just too much at that age, like. So I played one. I stayed for a few weeks. The coach asked me to come in for minors. Would have been my last year minors, and the manager asked me to come in, and I came in and I played one game against Galway, and I played fullback in that game. But I hadn't trained with the team. I think I'd only trained like maybe 3 or 4 weeks with the team, if even. But yeah, we played Galway and I played fullback, and that was kind of the only underage Mayo I would have played, because I was very busy with basketball. So
yeah. And was basketball growing up? Did you prefer basketball to football, or was it just the more opportunities came up?
I guess, like, at the time I didn't think too much into it. I did, yeah. Like, obviously, if I played more basketball, I preferred basketball. But yeah, I didn't really think too much into it. Even though, like, mom and dad were so JH driven, like, it's nearly weird that I suppose everyone probably asked that question, like, knowing you didn't really come from a basketball background.
Yeah. Oh, your parents didn't play at all?
No, basketball. Mom would have played in school, like, but wouldn't have, like, had a career of it. But yeah, I suppose I just played more basketball at the time, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah, that's probably the main reason.
And then kind of getting called into the senior team. When were you first called in to the squad?
I was called in it was around April 2017, April or May 2017. Yeah, I'll never forget. I was walking through NUIG and I got the call.
And they rang you. Oh, I say you were buzzing going around.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got the call. Yeah, and I suppose then that was time where I was kind of like, God, will I be able? And I suppose, like, one of the main things is getting, like, both of your coaches to agree that, like, this is the amount of time you can give, and just an understanding coach is a huge thing, and I'm thankful that I have had those throughout the last few years. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's kind of how I got into the senior team then,
Mm-hmm.
call, and then we went from there. So
And how did you find the step up to senior intercounty football?
um yeah, like everything, it was definitely a challenge. Going in, like, you're the youngest player nearly, and I was going in kind of on my own. Like, there was no other people I would have known. Like, so yeah, it was definitely challenging, but like the girls are so welcoming, and like they're my
Mm.
best friends now, like, so
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, no, definitely challenging, and the step up is different. It's just like playing under 16 basketball and playing under 20, like,
yeah.
um but and even playing under 20 and even senior ball. So yeah, no, the step up is huge, but I suppose you're there for a reason, so
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna try and you're always gonna give your most. And I like the challenge of people being better than you and you trying to strive for better. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's very good.
And chatting about the girls, then did they give you was there any like sort of advice that they gave you coming in to the squad? Like the question I have is best advice you were given coming into the team.
Yeah, I guess advice, kind of, they were like, just be yourself, and they were like, it's going to be tough, like there's
Mm-hmm.
nights where you're going to not want to be here, and but it's all going to be worth it. And I suppose that's the main thing, like you're working hard for an end goal, which is success. So yeah, and they were like, just be yourself, work hard, and don't be afraid to use your voice either,
Mm-hmm.
and talk to us. So yeah, no, obviously I was a bit shy going in, but now things are different. You go
Yeah,
in and you're as happy as Larry, chatting
yeah.
away. But yeah, no, definitely was a huge step, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. I just kind of, I suppose, I wish I wasn't kind of coming and going. That's what I
Oh,
kind of call
okay.
myself. I'm kind of coming and going because I'm playing basketball and football. And but it's like, as I say to most people, it's kind of worked in my favor. Like the last while. But like now it's so different with Corona and all that. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, the girls were so helpful and so welcoming when I started playing.
And kind of chatting about getting that balance, you were saying you're coming in and out. There was a couple of questions from people wondering how do you actually balance the two, and you were saying there it's key to have the managers are really good at communicating with you and with each other.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely like having managers, like with my Mayo coach and my Irish coach at the time. I suppose basketball would have been and is my first sport.
Mm-hmm.
So when Peter Lee is my manager for Mayo football, so when I went to Peter, I was kind of like, this is my situation. I don't know how that works with you, and you just kind of have to voice where you're at and how you're feeling, and they understand too, and like they don't want to overwork you either, like, but then there's the
Mm-hmm.
other side where like you need to know when you've done enough. Like, I remember there was times where I'd train on a Friday night for basketball, and then I'd have a game, Super League game on Saturday, and I'd be going to a Mayo game on Sunday morning. And like that could be anywhere. One time it was Donegal, and I remember coming home that evening, and I had to go back to college in Galway, and I remember just being so tired and run down. But I was like, Mom, I can't go back to Galway tonight. Like, I was just like, I want my own bed. But they're all challenges, and you're gonna overcome them. But yeah, definitely, like, time management is a huge thing as well, with balancing the both sports, and just looking after your body and recovery. I guess from under 16s to now, I've learned loads, and with regards to recovery and time management, and just kind of planning your week and getting your sessions in, and your nutrition and enough sleep
Mm-hmm.
is huge to performance. So
And chatting about that recovery, what would you do like after game? Are you a fan of the owl ice baths?
Um, I'm not, like, I actually don't mind ice baths. I really like getting to the sea. I suppose it's kind of
Okay.
similar to an ice bath. But after big games now, playing at European level, it will be ice bath after every game. I
Mm-hmm.
suppose it's nearly mind over matter getting into that.
Yeah.
It's like it's cold, but yeah, no, and then I suppose sleep is huge. Like I love my sleep. The girls would kind of call me a granny going to bed at 10:30. But I know I just think if I'm busy all day, I'm in college, I'm going to train, I'm in the gym and stuff like that. I do need a good night's sleep, and then I'm up early. But yeah, no, I spats, I guess, as I said, it's mind over matter. So I don't really mind if it helps, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and kind of chatting then about that time management. You're obviously usually really busy, but at the moment there's nothing actually on at the moment. How are you finding lockdown with all this free time that you usually probably wouldn't have?
Yeah. I guess during the first lockdown, it was a lot different than what it is now. The weather was so good during the first
Yeah,
lockdown. I guess that's not the only difference, but the weather was so good. I didn't have college work to do, and I suppose all of this is kind of up in the air. Like it's not like it kind of is now. It's still serious, but it was serious, but it's much serious now. But yeah, I suppose I'm lucky that like we kind of have a gym at home, and Hazel would train with me, and we for Mayo we had watches during lockdown, still do, like during lockdown, and we'd runs that would come up every day, and we gym programs and stuff like that. So that is that all helped, and I would happily do that all day over college work. But
yeah, yeah.
now it's kind of now it's, I suppose, just about managing your time. So yeah, kind of getting up, getting your college work done, making sure you're fitting in time to work out and go to the gym, or well, not go to the gym, go into stay in your house and stuff like that. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's not too bad, I suppose, for someone who would never really struggle, like is always outgoing, and that it has been very challenging, like
Yeah.
just not being able to get that break either, like to go and meet the girls, or like and not being in a college environment is definitely hard. But I suppose everyone is in the same boat, so you can only do with what you have right now. And yeah, and then the big blow of not like having a league this year. I suppose I was lucky to play with Mayo this year, and that came back, or well, last year I guess, and that came back. So that was definitely really good. It kept the spirits up for a few weeks. You were meeting up with the girls, and you were training and back into the environment of things. But yeah, no, it definitely has been challenging. But as I said, everyone is in the same boat. So all we have to do is do what we can with what we have. So
Exactly. Someone on Instagram was wanting to know as well. How do you keep motivation up during lockdown to keep working out and training? You mentioned there your sister. That's probably nice to have a partner to do a few things with.
yeah, definitely. I suppose like anyone, like there's days I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to sit at my desk. I don't want to work out. But I suppose now is a time where no one's looking at you. This is when you're going to make the most progress. You're for someone who like where is always in a team sport, you're going to be able to develop skills by yourself and work on little individual things. Keeping motivated is just knowing that at some stage games are going to come back and you're going to be competing at a high level again, and just wanting to get better, I guess. Staying motivated. Hazel, my sister, as you said, is here, and yeah, we would work out together and gym together and stuff like that. We're very close, so that's definitely a big help. And then mom and dad, as I said, are good motivators. So and then Killian, my sister, or my brother as well, he does be doing the same, but I suppose he's not a girl. He does be lifting heavier weights, and so
Yeah, yeah. And who's winning 1-on-1? You or Hazel?
Oh God. um I guess me, yeah, but like Hazel is still she like everything, she puts it up to me. She's a warrior, so yeah, no, she is.
Yeah, yeah.
She is. But we're both learning from each other, like everything. So
Yeah, that's good. And I'm just interested to hear then about your training. How do you like? Would you? How do you kind of balance practicing the two different sports? Like skills wise, would you do football and
yeah,
basketball together? I know the running is slightly different because in basketball it's all about like sprint, but football is the longer distance
yeah,
kind of style.
yeah. So I suppose before, say in the first lockdown, it would have been primarily football based because we were training, and it was championship was coming back, so we had those runs to do, and there was no necessary like court to practice on and that. But the I suppose with basketball, like it's I lost my I lost my train of thought there.
You're grand. Do you want me to say the question again?
I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So would it be different field? But yeah. So basically, yeah, it would have been primarily football. So I would have been training, outrunning, kind of, I suppose, long distance endurance wise. And then training skills wise at basketball and football. If I'm outside, there's always a basketball or a football there. So I suppose one thing I would advise to the younger generation practicing now is practice with both feet and both hands. Now is such a prime time, and I wish I did it. But yeah, no, like I suppose balancing both sports, like while I'm at home, it's fine. Like it is grand. I suppose, as I said, there's a football or basketball outside, so I'm going to pick that up and practice free solo, stuff like that, kicking my weak foot. There's not so much you can do now with being in your back garden, but luckily I've loads of space and stuff like that, but and a hoop and that. So yeah, no, it is it's not too bad. The cold evenings though are they're not great at the moment.
Yeah, I'm struggling. I love the long summer evenings, and you can go kicking.
Oh my
Now
God.
it's there's snow like and everything.
It's so cold. Yeah, it's very cold, but I suppose you have to get on with it.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of chatting there, you mentioned the 2020 season with Mayo. How did you find with the whole COVID thing? Obviously, there's no supporters, and everything would have been slightly different. I know, like, just with the regulations, like not having like dressing rooms and like I don't like traveling to training and stuff. Everything would be slightly different than usual.
Yeah, everything definitely was different. You had to kind of arrive to training ready, put your boots on outside the car, and train and go home. I suppose the kind of we were lucky enough to be able to train in the first place, so we'd take anything we could get, like, you know. But not being allowed into dressing rooms, we kind of were during the end, you're allowed in for like 15 minutes. It was kind of split up in times and that. But yeah, no, it wasn't too bad. I suppose every other team is doing the same. So, and all you want to do is be on the pitch and play at the end of the day. So I know it was grand. A bit of a challenge at times wearing masks, and they're so annoying and all that, but you just get on with it, and especially when you want to play the game you love. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you'll do anything to go out and get training and get playing, and thank God you did. And I have to say, from a supporter's standpoint, having the championships to watch was brilliant, because it just gave you that hour of you're not thinking of COVID, you're just watching a match. Like,
definitely, yeah, definitely. And even like Sunday, that's so different without having like the Sunday games on, and you know, roast dinner, and it kind of came back towards the end there where, like, you know, the men were playing and the hurling and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely, as you said, from a supporter's point of view, it was such a boost. Like,
And how did you find not having supporters in the stand? Because I remember I was at the Tipperary Monaghan game, and I remember at the end it was really weird. Well, it was actually weird throughout the game, because I could hear the management shouting the instructions at the players, but at the end I was so used to people like cheering because they won, and there was just silence, and I just remember being hit like, oh my God, like there's actually nobody here.
I know, yeah, it's crazy, yeah. I guess like outdoors is very different to indoors, when you compare them from basketball to football. If you find that, I don't know, but it's very, I suppose it's a confined space when you're playing basketball. Football, it was different, like definitely so different. But I guess it kind of, not that it wouldn't like put me up or down, but like the main thing is being out playing and trying to succeed and win. So yeah, no, it was definitely very weird. But, and I guess like supporters, like you said, you can hear the coaches, and nearly when the men were playing on TV, you can hear like people, you know, like the echo of them talking, whereas that would never be the case. But yeah, no, it's very strange, like, but hopefully it all comes back in no time.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And kind of looking towards the 2020-21 season, with Mayo, and I know Super League it doesn't look like it's going ahead. Not too sure about the international scene. What are you looking forward to in 2021?
So right now, uh, we've kind of started up with the Irish international team. So we've had like Zoom calls and stuff like that. So the ball has got running there, and we've got a huge sponsor on board. Gotham Drywall are a new
Hmm.
sponsor for. I'm sure you heard the
Yeah, it's brilliant
um
news.
Irish senior women's team. So it's been a huge boost. And financially, it'll definitely help a lot of us out and the team out. So yeah, definitely to thank them. It's a huge boost to the team. Um, but yeah, so that will be in June. That's we're on trial at the moment, so that will be a goal of mine would be to make that team, and the European or the small countries are then in June. So football then wise is the league is going to be played off a shorter time. So
Hmm.
that we were due to come back on the 15th of January, but with COVID and all, it's been stopped. So I guess everything's uncertain at the moment. But yeah, we can only wait and see, and keep kind of ticking away on our own at the moment. And yeah, and then Super League wise, they have said that it's not going to go ahead. Like so, yeah, which is a shame because that's kind of your like your stepping stone towards Europeans. It kind of sets you up very nicely, even playing club ball all
Hmm.
season, and you're nearly in rhythm. But not to worry. Like hopefully, international ball does come back, and we can play that. But yeah, they'd be the main three things. Whether I can fit them all in now is another thing. But
Yeah, I was going to say you've a very busy summer.
yeah, yeah, but I know, yeah. So we'll see. I've kind of just take kind of every day as it comes, and I suppose that's all you can do right now with uncertainty. Normally, I would have a plan in place, kind of where I want to be at this certain time. But I suppose my main goal for the summer is to make the Irish senior women's team, and then compete with Mayo. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Brilliant, yeah. And then just chatting about GRG Sports. What is GRG? Now I know what it is, but can you explain to the listeners what is GRG
Yeah,
Sports?
so Game Ready Gear is GRG Sports, and it's a brand of clothing, sports clothing. So yeah, they've three Mayo men, Tom Parsons, I'm sure a lot of people, Sharose Akram and Keen Hanley, are the main three men involved. So yeah, it's a sporting brand, and it's definitely I was kind of asked to come in and I suppose be an ambassador and promote the brand throughout. So yeah, it's I suppose if you've seen their gear and that it's definitely it's lovely gear, so comfy and everything. But yeah, they're definitely on the rise, and they've provided to so many sports teams over the country. So yeah, I would recommend anyone to check them out. And yeah, if you're in any sports team or any even young sports team or in schools teams, they'll happily facilitate you. So yeah.
And it's probably nice to be involved with the three lads from Mayo. It's in like it's homegrown. It's a brand from Mayo.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's so good for the lads and for Mayo. There's a lot of different brands, I guess, like gloves and all that are people are bringing out. But yeah, it's definitely a brand that's on the rise, and I'd highly recommend anyone to purchase from it because and support the lads because it is, as I said, it is lovely gear. And again, it's a Mayo brand, so support local, as they say.
Absolutely. I'll be sure to link their website and everything in the description. But kind of looking forward
Yeah.
then, maybe a couple of years down the line, you were on your Erasmus in Valencia, so you were training with them. Is is a professional career something you're maybe aspiring to do? Is that something you'd love to do in the future?
Yeah, so I guess I've been asked this question a few times. Right now I'm in final year college, so I have to get this year over with me first, and then I probably will look to do a master's. I'm only 20 yet, so a professional career definitely down the line. Yeah, whether it's in basketball or football, I actually don't know.
Yeah,
I really like the idea of the AFL and
yeah,
the whole professionalism of that. But then again, I do love the playing professional basketball as well. So yeah, it's definitely a goal of mine, and definitely on the books. But right now, I guess it's kind of get this year over with me, and then reevaluating where I am. But yeah,
hmm
it's definitely a goal of mine to go play abroad in some way, shape, or form,
and
as
it's
long as
probably
I'm
nice.
healthy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Keeping injury free. And as
yeah,
you were
yeah,
saying with AFLW, there's a couple of girls now from Mayo. I know Sarah Rowe. There's a couple of other ones. Neve Kelly,
yeah,
Grace.
yeah.
Yeah,
Grace and Aidan Gilroy, yeah. There is a good few of the girls there out there, yeah.
yeah. So it's probably nice to kind of get their insight as well and see what they think of it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah, and yeah, they highly recommend it. I suppose they're a lot. They've a few years on me, so they have their degrees and all that. So yeah, it's definitely good to get their advice on things like that. And yeah,
Exactly, yeah. Chatting about improving, I have another question here from Paul Kelleher and looking towards the future. What skill would you like to have improved slash develop that would take your game to another level? And I'm going to ask that to both football and basketball.
okay. I guess in relation to basketball, it would probably be my shooting percentage and shooting off the dribble. I guess that would kind of be my main focus. I suppose one thing kind of I guess I'm working on is my right hand. So not that I'm left-handed. So well, provisionally I write my right, but I shoot my left. So
Oh, okay. That's weird. Yeah.
I'm a bit strange, yeah. But yeah, so like dominantly, like I would have played handball in the past, and my right hand would be my dominant hand.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so it's very strange, but yeah. So then my right hand, not that it's entirely weak or stuff, but like coming into contact with my right hand, into contact with someone, use my right hand, being able to finish on the right strongly. They would kind of be my main. I suppose I've loads of little things that I'd love to like improve on.
Mm-hmm.
My floater going to the basket, pulling up and avoiding contact. And then football wise, I guess like I went from playing midfield kind of to playing full or centre at back and stuff. One thing I think I could implement more into my game would be I suppose using both feet more like to get out of a sticky situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when playing with club, I guess I have more of an attacking role. So myself and Hazel play midfield, so it's kind of
Oh,
like
deadly.
you attack. Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like if I attack and then I'm tired, it's like it's okay, I'll go this time. Well, no, that's not. That's not. We don't plan it, but it's good to have her there because we're very equal on that stage. So yeah, no, they will kind of be the main things. Again, loads of things. I'm sure Paul Keller would give me a few tips on that on what he think I should improve on. But just like every coach, and they're things I really love to hear because they're only going to make you a better player.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I find as well, like I'm still playing and I'm doing a bit of coaching, it's kind of nice to reach out and ask because I could have it in my head that I really need to improve my right hand, but I actually could do with maybe improving something else, and I'm focusing my attention on something that isn't really like it's not I need to do it, but it's not a priority, and I could get better value from something else.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. Yeah. And even like asking someone like if you don't ask, the answer is no, like
Mm-hmm.
but like yeah, definitely reach out and ask your coaches. Like I love getting advice, and like it's positive criticism, even though
Mm-hmm.
they're not necessarily criticizing your game, they're telling you something to it's something that you need to improve on.
Yeah.
It's going to get you to where you want to be, and bit by bit. But yeah, no, definitely. If any young people, don't be afraid to ask for advice,
Yeah.
because it's only going to go one way.
Exactly. That's something I wish I did when I was younger. Was ask coaches and player and teammates like, what should I do? But kind of chatting there, you were saying about your left and right hand. Out of interest, are you right or left footed then for football?
I left footed, yeah.
Is that the one you're right with? I'm so confused.
No, it's so I write with my right hand, I shoot with my left hand, and I kick with my left.
Oh, so you're like ambidextrous? Like, are you? Can you write with both hands?
No, I do. I can't. I haven't tried, but like, but if I, it's yeah, it's weird. Like if I was to go to pass with my right hand, it would be my dominant hand to pass with. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't. It's just weird.
that's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
sorry, that's weird.
yeah.
um,
um,
moving on to the sideline seven. So it's the same seven questions for every guest. What is your favorite quote?
my favorite quote would probably be, God, there's loads of quotes, but hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
Um, I guess like that's probably one of my favorite quotes. Um, like if we work hard, it shows. Like, but you will never beat someone who's just talent. You have
Mm,
to work hard. You
yeah.
definitely have to work hard to get where you want to be. So yeah, I really like
Exactly.
that quote.
And it's something that players can really take now, which is interesting because they have the time to work. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing else on, so you may as well go
Yeah,
practice. Like,
exactly. Behind closed doors, this is when you're gonna progress the most and work on those little things that maybe like you wouldn't get to work on if you were in a team situation, because it's constantly team based, you know?
exactly, yeah.
So yeah.
Question two: the best sporting event you've been to, and you can say as a player or a supporter or both.
Okay. Good. As a player, yeah, I suppose I'm always nearly playing. But the best one I've been to, I guess like I actually haven't been to abroad any like big games, NBA games or anything like that. But I the All Ireland's like All Ireland football, and then I would have been to a few professional games over in Valencia of the Valencian team playing. So yeah, they would probably be um my kind of favorite ones I've been to.
You'll be waiting a few more years for the lads to win the Sam.
Oh my God, I
I
know
had
the
to throw
poor
that in
things,
there.
but
I had to throw it in there
yeah,
as a
yeah,
dove, yeah.
yeah, yeah. um,
um,
we will,
yeah.
yeah, I know.
Looking back, what's the biggest setback or challenge so far in your career?
Um, I suppose locally, touch wood, I haven't had any huge setbacks. I suppose every kind of injury is a setback, but it's how you deal with it. You wouldn't necessarily call it a setback. You call it, you know, um, how you deal with it is how you're going to progress. So, yeah, little injuries here and there have been challenging. But I've had no huge setback, thank God. Um, my biggest challenge to date with regards to game wise, or just my challenge overall?
I'd be interested to hear game wise as well.
Um, yeah, I suppose my biggest challenge, that's a tough question. Maybe like I suppose making a team is very challenging. Like, you know, you're up against the best. I suppose making that starting team with regards to football is always nerve-wracking, and you're never fully sure because you're playing with the people who are as good as you, or even better
Mm-hmm.
than you. Um, I my biggest challenge, I suppose, every game to me is a challenge. You know, I'd be very competitive, so I take every game, whether you kind of know you're going to win it or you don't. It's always going to be a challenge. So yeah, I guess I couldn't really answer that. I'm going to think about that kind of after
Yeah,
this. But
I put you on the spot with
yeah,
that
I
one.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chat. You mentioned it there. Actually, I meant to ask about kind of going from midfield to half back. How have you found that transition to the defensive side?
yeah. I guess yeah. I found it's fine. Yeah, I like playing centre half back. I suppose it's kind of like you're playing, like I played sweeper against Tyrone, and then against Armagh, then I was man marking um oh, if her name won't come to me. I was man marking one of Armagh's players. I can't think of her name right now. Caroline
Oh,
Hanlon,
okay.
and she's actually an international netballer. So that was
Oh,
kind of the
yes.
link that,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I was man marking her and centre half back. So yeah, I guess like it's fine. Like I don't I like the defensive side of things. You've more responsibility though.
Mm.
In comparison to like midfield, you're kind of, not that you don't have a responsibility, you don't have a job, but like you're kind of more like able to freely go around kind of.
Mm.
But when you're on someone, it's kind of, it's a bit, there's a bit more pressure, and I kind of found that, especially playing the last few games at Mayo there, that it's being a back is a lot more taxing than you think, like, when you're
Yeah,
actually in the position.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely like it. It's definitely a rewarding position, because once you do your job, you turn over the ball. It's like in basketball, when you turn over the ball, when you get a steal, like it definitely is a very rewarding position. But yeah, no, it was grand. It was grand, and I enjoyed it.
That's good. Then kind of on the flip side, then what is your biggest achievement on or off the court, or on pitch? Sorry, for you as well.
My biggest achievement, I guess there's been a lot of highlights, as I've said. I suppose from a team aspect, it would be the silver medal in Dublin and the bronze. From a personal point of view, I would have won International Player of the Year in 2017-18. So that was a huge achievement, I suppose, personally. But these achievements don't come without having the team around you and the supports like around you. So yeah, it's not as I said, there's no I in team. So yeah, they've kind of been the team aspect of things. You don't get these individual awards unless you're surrounded by those people. So
Hmm.
yeah, that would have been a highlight. And then God, I really a lot of kind of like achievements team wise, and I won a few awards and stuff like that. But yeah, and then I division. You're kind of coming from a personal point of view or a team point of view, like.
We can go with both.
Yeah, I suppose like they would kind of be my main ones, and then Division One Player of the Year then in 2018, and that. So yeah, they were achievements, but and I suppose they've got me where I am today, but they wouldn't come, as like I said, without having that team and the supports and family and friends around you. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Looking back, then you're only 20, as you said, but what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Yeah, my 18-year-old self, advice, I guess, is to just work hard. As I said, like I would be very competitive, so I always like to, if I see that I'm lacking in this, I'd be very critical of myself. But like every athlete, you're critical of
Yeah.
what you do wrong and stuff like that. But advice, yeah, would just be to work hard and never give up, like, and no matter how much you're up or down the game. Um, but yeah, and keep going, because you are where when I was 18, I suppose. I guess I wouldn't have necessarily given myself advice, but like question kind of is in that way, like I suppose I have thoughts in my head that if I work now, I'm gonna be where I am today, and that's what
Yeah.
I suppose I'm saying to now. If I work hard now, then it's gonna benefit me in the future. So
Mm. Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good answer. Dream dinner guest and why? And it's I should actually change the question to dinner party because everyone just seems to throw in people. Who would it be for yourself?
Dinner, God, there's a lot of people I suppose I'd like to come to my dinner, but God, there is loads of people. I suppose sporting wise, like um, maybe like maybe like suppose someone who like isn't maybe like Kobe Bryant or Katie Taylor, or one of those big sporting stars. I admire Katie Taylor, but she's necessarily from Ireland, so I don't think I'd ever get the chance to have dinner with Kobe Bryant, that kind of way. But
yeah, I know what you're saying.
yeah, no, that's a funny question. Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose it kind of be.
Last question then. If your life was a book, what chapter would this be called?
The unknown.
Okay.
I suppose with regards to COVID and everything, that would be.
Yeah.
I know, not the unknown. I suppose I'm in my 20s now. So the chapter of a book. Maybe this chapter would be called Prime.
Okay.
Prime. I suppose,
Yeah.
as in like my 20s are going to be my prime years of my sporting career. So but I guess then I'm narrowing it down to like 20s to 30s, but maybe Prime. Yeah.
Okay, so we've big things to expect then over the next 10 years.
Well, I don't know. I suppose I could have, if I was answering this when I was 16, I could have said, well, these are my prime years, but
yeah,
because you're always developing. So I don't know. I kind of just said unknown because right now everything is so uncertain and unknown. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's good. Look, Dayna, thank you so much for your time. We've gone well over, but I just want to wish you the best of luck with whatever way the seasons are next year and with everything. And I really appreciate your time.
Thanks a million. Thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Dayna. A massive thank you to Dayna for coming on today. I certainly enjoyed that episode and I hope you did as well. I'm looking forward to following her continued success both on the basketball court and football pitch, and I just want to wish her the best of luck. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave a rating and a review. And if you're interested in starting up your very own podcast, be sure to get in touch with the Primal Productions team over on Instagram at Primal Pro.